our speaker rose from the ranks to reach where he is right now. Finding his niche in the BPO industry didn't come easy, but from being a telemarketer to a CSR, then he found his place in the training department. Now here to talk about leadership development in the BPO industry, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Mike Blanco. Mike. All right. Mr. Mike Blanco, one of his expectations is to see lots of smiles, right? Here.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Is this? The podium is too tall for me, so I guess I'll just be standing here at the center.
Oh, cool.
Since we have a very.
Would you like a wireless microphone?
I'm sorry.
Would you like to use a wireless microphone?
Great. Yeah, that's perfect.
Cool.
That's perfect.
More flexibility.
Test me. I usually test because my name is Mike. Thank you very much, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to our BPO Summit. How have you been? Have you had coffee? We have free coffee outside, and then they also serve this water. They say that it has a certain chemical that will keep people awake, so I guess it's for the call center industry. So just be careful not to drink too much of it. We don't want you to stay awake over the weekend, okay? So be careful about that. I have a presentation, but I'll go to that in a bit. So I just want to give you just a brief background of who I am or what I am in the BPO industry. I worked in the BPO industry for about 10 years. I started working when I was 18. Any objections? Oh, okay. One of my former teammates is here actually. I'm surprised to see her here too. So yeah, I've been in the industry for about 10 years now, and it's been a fun ride in the BPO industry, and I've been out of it for about a year now. So I'm now into the manufacturing industry. But what I see here when it comes to leadership, the development of people is basically the same, I guess, same basic principles and the like. So that's something that I have seen all throughout. And being a call center agent when I started in the industry was something really different for me. I came from, just like what Rebecca asked earlier, if who among you came from another industry prior to the call center boom here in the Philippines. Well, I came from a lot of industries. I came from the non-life insurance industry, real estate industry, car sales industry, and one of my longest stints was working for the government. So I used to work at the Senate for a senator. I won't mention who he is because and I'll be sharing some of his secrets as well. But it's a different industry when I joined the call center, the BPO industry for that matter. So I was trained well in my first call center, and that's where I got inspired to become a trainer right now. And being a trainer in the BPO industry is very, very difficult. Why? Because the profile that we get, okay, from our recruitment side, it's very, very diversified. We have people who graduated from the nursing courses, right? You get nursing applicants or nursing graduate applicants in your companies, right? And we have architects even, those who took biology or communications, comp-sci and the like. So it's very, very diversified. So how will you develop someone, how can you develop a team that's very diversified? So I came up with this presentation, I'll tell you frankly, just last night, because up to the last minute, I didn't know what to talk about and what to share with you. But what I'm going to share is something that I hope will be able to help your organizations in terms of developing your leaders. Do you know what's the number one reason why people leave companies? Can I have your name?
Miguel.
Hi, Miguel. Miguel, what do you think is the main reason why people leave their company?
Boredom.
Boredom, okay, well that's one reason. And how about you, sir?
Franco. Maybe stress.
Stress? Yeah, that's one factor as well, stress. And hi, Rowena. I see your nameplate there. What do you think is the main reason why people leave either a company or the call center that they're working? Boredom as well. Yes, how about you?
Angry. How about the relationship with the boss, superior?
The relationship with the bosses or the superior. Thank you very much. Actually, all of your answers are correct. Okay? And what Rick gave is actually, the bullseye. If the relationship with their bosses, with your bosses, or with you, I would assume a lot of you here are bosses in your own companies. And that's one reason why people leave their companies. I've been through let me see, down here, attrition, you see, go up. During the early 2000s, attrition was only at an industry average of about 27%. And then it went up one at a time, or slowly, okay, 29%. Now I think the industry average is 35% attrition. So when you say 35%, if you hire 100 people in January, by December you only have 65, right? That's huge. And all the factors that you gave, boredom, stress, and most importantly, the relationship with your leaders, are one of the big factors why people leave their companies. Okay? So, if people leave your company, what do you have? If you have a very high attrition rate in your company, what happens? Who's from HR here? Anyone? Yeah, I'm from HR. What happens when someone leaves your company? What cost goes up? Training costs? What else? Severance pay, that's true, right? And of course your recruitment costs, right? To hire one agent, a company would usually spend about 10,000 pesos just to hire someone. Okay, so that does not include the contract or the salary of the agent. But there's, if you're going to look for, if you have a headhunter, let's say you have talent development, job finance, Adventist, and all these search companies, you pay them for a premium every time someone gets hired. That's additional cost. And at the same time, the investment that you make with this particular trainee or agent, okay, is not going down the drain if you don't keep them well. And usually, here in the Philippines, we have a 6-month threshold, right? Which is, after 6 months, you get regularized. Other companies now are cutting it short to just 3 months, just to have retention. Okay? But people, okay, start leaving in 2 months, 3 months, 2 months. Why? We have about, let me ask a reliable source here. My brother actually is here. Bro, how many call centers do we have right now, approximately?
We have about 200.
200. Okay, if I'm a call center agent and I go to, let's say, Teletech right now, and I start working there as a call center agent, hi, so I get trained, Teletech invests in me, and then I have a poor relationship with my supervisor or with my leader, I can easily leave just like that. Why? There's 199 other companies waiting for me. The leaders of today forget that they also have internal customers. Their internal customers are the people that work for them or with them. Okay? So, you have high attrition, you have high costs. What's the root cause of it? That's what I'm going to talk about. Okay? Can I have my slide, please? Okay, so leadership. Okay, my first slide. I don't know if, can you go to the next one, please? Okay, this is a song for you. The first paragraph goes like this. I believe that children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. What do you think is the next line? Hi Arvin, you know the next line?
I will familiar with this song.
Who knows the next line? Hi there, Andrea, you know the next line?
Give them a sense of life.
Give them a sense of. Can you go to the next slide, please? There, give them a sense of life. Thank you very much. To make it easier, let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Ano, may background music, ano? But, and the third line goes, everybody's searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone who fulfilled my needs. A lonely place to be, so I learned to depend on me. I have to put there the name of Whitney Houston or else I might be branded as a song. Anyway. Oops, later. Please stay on that slide, please. I'm sorry. There you go. So, this song, we've heard this time and again in the video bars, in parties, right? But if you're going to analyze the song, you're going to see that it's a song about leadership. I believe that children are our future. Who have kids? Wow, there you go. Nice. Parents, right? I've done it myself. I'm going to have 2 kids come December. And we usually forget that leadership starts at home. Okay? We believe that children are our future. Do you believe that? Do you? We were all once, we were all kids before. Remember? I still am at heart and at height. So, right? Our kids are our future. We were the future in the past. Now we're living our future. What are we doing about it? Okay? Show them all the beauty they possess inside. This is what leaders forget nowadays. They forget that the people that they're handling, just like your children, they're all beautiful inside. An agent makes a mistake, and you generalize that agent as someone who's a loser. Sometimes you do that, right? Or pasaway, or something like that. But deep inside, we are all beautiful. Do you agree? Who's not beautiful here inside? Okay? Right? Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Okay? What does this line mean? I have this very important word that I usually make sure that the leaders that I train know about. It starts with the letter E. Anyone has an idea? The following letters M. Empathy? Oh yeah, that's in the line of that one, that's correct. P. Empower. Sorry, what's your name, sir? Rico. Thank you very much, Rico. Okay? Empowerment. Empowerment. The problem with our leaders now is they do not believe in their children, the people that they handle. They do not empower them, as Rico mentioned. Empowerment is the key. If you want to make sure that your people are developed properly, empower them. I mean, just to give you an instance, when I was a team leader back then, one of my agents was always late. Monday to Thursday, he's late. Fridays, he's absent. Okay, he always likes to have a 3-day weekend, as much as we do, right? So, what I did the following week, I made sure that this guy would come in early. So I coached him, and I gave him tips on how to come in early and everything. And what I did was I empowered him by giving him the attendance sheet. Okay? I gave him the attendance sheet, and he said, "Why are you giving this to me? I'm always late." Exactly. You know what? Following day, Tuesday, his timing is at 9 o'clock. He came in at 8:59, so he's not late. Wow, good. Okay? So he was able to take the attendance of the team. Wednesday came, he came in at 8:40. Wow. Thursday, Friday, and the following Monday, he would usually come in at 8:30 because he knew that he has been empowered to get the attendance of the team. Simple task that I gave him. And you know what? Years later, I meet him in, I think it was Mega Mall. He said, "Hey, Mike, how are you?" I said, "Oh, hi, stop. What are you doing now?" "I'm in this call center, I'm a team leader." "Really? Wow, congrats." "You know what, bro? I haven't forgotten what you taught me." I said, "I forgot, sorry. What did I teach you?" "Remember when you gave me that attendance sheet?" That's the time that I learned how to be responsible, at work at least. A simple task that you gave your people, right? And they won't forget it for the rest of their life, especially if it's life-changing. Okay? Everybody's searching for a hero. Everybody's searching for a hero. I mean, who's our latest hero? I mean, here in the Philippines at least. He died in a plane crash. Jesse Robredo, right? To a lot of people, especially in the Naga province, and to his family and to his colleagues in Malacanang, he is a hero. We need someone to look up to. Well, they say that there are a lot of sex, drugs, and lies in the call center industry. Relationships get broken and all. True, it may seem, it's just getting magnified, but I'm sure in other industries you have that too. Okay? But I believe too that the call center industry has an opportunity to develop people in magnitude. Why? One team leader usually handles how many? How many agents?
12.
12, 13, right? 14 or 15, at the most maybe 20, right? One person has the opportunity to develop 20 people in his team. But if that person does not know how, or if that person is not a hero to his or her agents, do you think his people will be developed well? Of course not. Therefore, if you have to be a hero, you have to be a role model. I mean, I'm not saying you die in a plane crash or anything, right? Or get run down by tanks. Okay? A simple thing as being a good role model to your people, or practice what you preach as leaders. Okay? Next slide, please. Oh, you know Michael Jordan? Don't be handful. Maybe Maybe those who don't, Michael Jordan, they say, is the greatest basketball player who ever lived. He's won 6 championships in the NBA. He's better than LeBron. You know, LeBron James, right, for the kids of today, right? Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball player who ever lived, okay? Or he's still living, okay? But he's got a bigger belly now, okay? And, you know, what he did, okay, what was done to him was his leadership skills were cultivated by his coach, okay? Please. So leadership is an action, not a word. This is, again, I quote from Richard Cooley, and he's the CEO, retired CEO of Wells Fargo. Okay, so leadership is an action, not a word. So it's more about you acting, okay, doing things. Okay? It's not just a word. It's not just a job title. Oh, okay, I'm VP for this now. I'm manager for this now, and then you just put your feet up on your table and say, okay, you do this, right? No, it has to be an action. Your people have to see you doing it. Michael Jordan was a leader in his team, and he said, oh, you should learn how to pass the ball. Okay? Sorry, going back to prior to the first crown of Michael Jordan, first NBA crown, he used to be, you know the term buakaw? So he used to hog the ball a lot. Okay? He never passed it. Okay? He wanted to, I mean, there was one game he scored 80 points. Was it 80 points? 69 points, I think, against, I think the Boston Celtics or something, or the Denver Nuggets. Okay? He was hogging the ball too much. You know, in spite of him being a top scorer, they never won the NBA championship. But they had a new coach, and his leadership skills were cultivated. So the new coach was able to develop him into a great passer, a great defender. So he passed the ball a lot. Okay? And he led his team in assists. He led his team in terms of defense, and of course in scoring, which is his forte. And that won him their first round. Okay? So, once he started acting out as a leader, doing what he preaches, so we have to pass the ball well, his team won 3 straight championships. And then he retired for 2 years. Came back, still has the same principles of leadership, won another 3. 6 championships in a matter of 8 years. That's a feat in the NBA. Okay? So that's what Michael Jordan is, but not all of us are Michael Jordan, right? All we need to do to become the Michael Jordans of our company is, number one, we have to make sure that we inspire our people and we motivate them. Okay? But before we do that, we have to perform ourselves. It doesn't mean that you're a manager or you're a VP or your CEO. Put your feet up on the table and start ordering people around. Right? Leadership is modeling, not mandating. Have you all seen the movies of Mel Gibson? I used to like him a lot. Okay, part of course all of his issues right now. But his movies really showed a lot about leadership, which is modeling and not mandating. In Braveheart, okay, famous line, he has a famous one line there, which is, he shouted, freedom. That was it. But did you like his speech when he was riding on the horse? Right? His speech says that, he was saying that, you haven't lived, okay, right now. How will you die as a good person if you haven't lived your life now, here, at this moment? So he inspired his people to charge against the enemy. Okay? He led that army. Of course, he died. Okay? But his death did not go into futility because of his death, people were inspired, okay, to fight their aggressors or their oppressors. Okay? We were soldiers as well. His famous line there is, I will be the first one to step on the battleground or the battlefield, and I will be the last to step out of it. He made sure that no one gets left behind. And actually that became the principle of the U.S. Marine Corps. They call it, I think, Semper Fi, if I'm not mistaken. They call it Semper Fi. Have you heard the term Semper Fi? They shout at Semper Fi. Right? That means, we're a team, no one gets left behind, even if you're dead. Even if after the blast all that's left are your hands, we'll take your hands and bring it home to your family. And they do that. Not kidding. They make sure they retrieve that one. They retrieve that bloody part of yours. Sorry. Okay? And of course the Patriot. You've seen the Patriot where he fought against the British Army, and to the point that one of his children even died, or 2 of his kids died, actually, in that movie. And yet he inspired all the ordinary people, or the ordinary citizens of the U.S. to stand up in arms against their oppressors as well. All of those movies he portrayed as a leader, and in all of those movies he was working with his army. Right? Next, please. Exhibit great sense of awareness today. Okay, you have to be, as leaders, you have to be aware today of what's been going on with your team. You have to be aware. If you have 15 people in your team, you have to be aware right now, not tomorrow, right now. Okay? And no awareness means you don't appreciate your subordinates or the people that work with you. Okay? Who among you here are CEOs? VPs? Okay, we have one CEO. VPs? SVPs? Okay? Or those at that executive level. Okay? This I ask. Do you know the birthdays of your people? If you have 2,000 employees, how the heck do I know the birthdays of 2,000 people? That's why you have an Excel sheet and you have your HR to remind you. I worked with this company in the past. It's called Pacific Hub. That's where I worked with Liza over there. And they used to have a birthday. I don't know if they still have that now, but they used to have a birthday club. The birthday club, whoever celebrating their birthday in October, will get to spend their birthday with the CEO. Our CEO, their CEO, is his name is Beaver Lopez. I don't know if you know Beaver Lopez. He's the son of Manolo Lopez, the former chairman of Meralco. So I used to work with him, and he would have lunch, okay, every month with all those who are celebrating their birthdays in that particular month. It's a simple gesture, right? Simple acknowledgement that, hey, my CEO treated me for lunch, even though there were 200 other people with you. But that's the feeling that they got. That was one good retention program. Our CEO was aware of, even though he didn't know all of them personally, but at least the people were thinking that, hey, the CEO was aware of my birthday, or is aware of my birthday, right? And that's something good that they would feel, or even carry, even if they move on to another company. In fact, even myself, right? And no show of appreciation means you are an ineffective leader. Okay? We usually want the spotlight on us, but as a leader, you have to have the spotlight on your employees. They are the ones they are the star players of your team, not you. Okay? So make sure that for you to become an effective leader, appreciate your subordinates, appreciate the people that work with you. Next, please. Wow, some were born to be leaders. Who among you, of course, know Prince Charles and is that Prince Harry? Prince William. Prince William, right? Right? He looks like Lady Diana. Okay, Prince William. And how about this guy? You know who this guy is? On my right? He's if have you seen The Last Emperor? The movie? I think that's by Steven Spielberg, The Last Emperor of China. So he's the last emperor of China when he grew up. In the movie, he was a young boy. Okay? They were born to be leaders. They were born literally with a silver spoon in their mouth, right? So they're born leaders. I mean, who among you here are born leaders? Who's a datu here, or who's a prince or a princess here? Okay. Well, I'm the king of my house, but other than that, my wife is the empress. I just want to ask my empress I guess. Right? We're not born leaders, but they are. Next, please. But others are summoned to be leaders. You know who's this guy? Former Mayor Rudy Giuliani of New York. Right now it's Michael Bloomberg, right? But before Michael Bloomberg, Rudy Giuliani. And he was famous during maybe you were still a teenager back then, or a young kid back then in 2001. 9/11, there you go. He was very famous in 9/11. But before 9/11, he was not. New Yorkers hated him. What happened? What was before 9/11? 9/10, right? Okay. Right, so before 9/11, September 10, 2001, people in New York didn't like him. I mean, he had the scandal involving his mistress. They were saying that crime rate has increased because of Rudy Giuliani. No, he's not an effective mayor. Definitely he's going to lose the next elections. Right? But 9/11 happened. the following day, he became an instant hero. Why? He summoned the leadership skills or leadership qualities in him. He organized the rescue mission, saved thousands of lives by doing a lot of evacuation in Tower 2, or even in Tower 1 when it happened. He was right there on the site itself. He was right between the two towers. Okay? When Tower 1 collapsed, he organized everyone further, moved them back, to make sure that everyone is safe. He organized it with the army, coordinated with the army and all. Where was George Bush? He was thousands of kilometers away in Florida, right? After that, everyone loved Rudy, right? They were even egging him to run for the Senate or even the presidency, but he said, no, this is just right for me, don't worry. I'm done with politics. He summoned the leadership skills in him, or the leadership qualities in him. Time and again, when our businesses go down, okay, you see that your P&L at the end of the year is going down. You see that the monthly performance of your team is going down instead of it going up. What the heck is wrong? What do you do with your leaders? You scold them. You tell them, hey, what's going on here? Why aren't your team producing or your team's producing? Okay? Encourage them. Summon the leadership skills or the leadership qualities in them. Once you do that, they can turn a catastrophe into something beneficial for your company. They could turn things around. Okay? Next, please. In managing people, it's easier to loosen up than to tighten up. Okay, this is by Ken Blanchard. He's the author of The 1 Minute Manager. And I've read this way back. I think this was when I was still working at the Senate. So I was trying to learn more about management. I was still young back then. And I was saying, what does this mean? But throughout the years, I was able to experience it when I became the leader of my team. Okay? So it's easier to loosen up than to tighten up. One word came out of this, and that is discipline. We Filipinos are we disciplined? Are we disciplined? Yes, yes. I say we are, but not all of us. On the way here, I was in my car with my brother, and I was like, so I said, oh my God, we're late. Traffic is really terrible. I thought it's a holiday today, or at least it's a Saturday, and traffic would be easier. And coming over here, passing, you see all of those tricycles, right? And apparently they couldn't help themselves, but they still kept on cutting my lane, right? A simple thing as that. How will you know if a country is disciplined? Who among you here have been to the United States? Raise your hand. To my hometown, okay? The United States, right? Have you been in the U.S.? No? But of course, you've been on the road in the U.S., right? And when you say you'll travel like 20 minutes, how long is that distance? If you're traveling 20 minutes? Maybe about 20 miles, right? 20 miles is approximately 37 kilometers, more or less. 37 kilometers is from Quezon City to Alabang exit. That's 37 kilometers. Believe me, or trust me, I travel every day to Santa Rosa from Quezon City. Okay? It won't take you 20 minutes to travel from Quezon City to Alabang, right? Especially on a work week. How long will it take you? Quezon City to Alabang? 1 hour, an hour and a half, or worse, 2 hours? And it's all because of the discipline of the people on the streets. If you want to see a country's development, look at the streets. If you want to see a country's attitude towards each other, look at how they drive on the streets. In the US, okay, traffic's not that much, even inside the suburbs or even inside the cities, except New York City, right? New York or Chicago, I think. Right? You've been to Chicago. California and LA. LA traffic, it depends. LA afternoon traffic really sucks too, right? It's like, because do you know why it's like that in LA? Why traffic's bad? A lot of Filipinos there, right? Yeah, I was driving through one in California by 10. Yeah, it is still a rush hour. Yeah, particularly in California, because there are a lot of Filipinos. Yeah. And they're the cause of the traffic, the heavy traffic there. right? Look here, I mean, I've been to India. Anyone here from India? From or have been to India? I've been to Mumbai. There's no difference. You've been there too? In India? Yeah. I mean, sa India, napakapit. Ganun eh. And I had to drink Bonamine because the driver, okay, this was like how we drove 10 years ago. Okay? I mean, the discipline of the people is really, really critical when it comes to our businesses. Okay? I usually tell my trainees, guys, leave your, sad it may seem, leave your Filipino attitude outside the door, please. Leave it with the guard. Don't forget to get the number. Mas tasing guard afterwards. Leave it there. When you enter this room, this training room with me, I want you to be like me, a Phil-Am. Okay? I'm a Phil-Am. You know what a Phil-Am is?
Filipino American.
No, that's not me. I'm just feeling American. Right? I feel like one. Especially when I'm on the calls, when I'm talking to our stakeholders, when I'm talking to our clients, you have to be a Phil-Am. A feeling American or a feeling Australian. Where's Kuwa? He's here. What? Okay, we have one of our colleagues here is also an Australian. I used to live in Australia. Where is Australia? Australia is the country down under, right? Australia, the continent. Who's Australian here? No one? Okay. I transferred to Australia too. You know, near Bundia, Kaplan. Australia, yeah, there you go. I guess all of you are hungry now. So, what I mean by that is that, you know, once you enter a company or, you know, a particular situation where you're dealing with foreigners, you have to have the mindset. You have to have the discipline that they do as well. I tell my trainees, please, once you're in here, okay, you're part of a team called, you know, whatever your company is, and, you know, please leave the negative Filipino attitude outside. Okay? What do we do? I mean, there are lots of Filipinos who are, well, first of all, very, very active. Like if you're in traffic, someone cuts you, whoa, yeah, right? But what the, right? We're very, very active. We're a country, we have a lot of countrymen here who have very short temper, right? I mean, you've seen the guy on TV the other day who, you know, pulled the hair of the cashier through water at her. What else did he do? Or the guy who beat up an MMDA traffic enforcer. Come on. And to think that guy is part of an HR team, I felt humiliated being part of HR. I said, what's wrong with this guy? Attitude. Okay? So, on the onset, discipline is the key. Okay? Develop your people well, but make sure that discipline is there. In your office at least. Okay? Eventually, loosen up a bit. Okay? You don't need to be too uptight with regards to your company policies. Although I know they're in black and white, but you know, there's some exemptions that you can make. Right? Because it's easier to loosen up than to tighten up. Okay? Next, please. The key to developing people is to catch them doing something right. You always catch them doing something wrong. Wow, mas okay if you catch them doing something wrong. You're at fault. We always enjoy pointing at people. What we don't know is that 3 other fingers are pointing back at us. So, you should point at them this way. Para lahat sa kanila. Just kidding. Right? You have to catch them always doing something right. Why? If you do that, you will be reinforcing positive attitude. If you keep on catching them doing something wrong, oh, late ka na naman. Bakit ka naman late? Sa ginawa na, sa ginawa na, just late ka na. Or you haven't once again, it's been 2 quarters. You always catch them doing something wrong. You will never do things right. But keep on doing that. Always every little thing. Every right thing that they do, coming in on time, at least 1 minute or something, for improving on their performance, even 0.1%, a little thing like that, they will feel appreciated. As children, we hated it when our parents do not appreciate it. Look, mommy, I got a star. Okay, and then what? Right? But if your kids now show you a star, hey look, mommy, I got a star. Like, oh wow, that's good. Right? Appreciate that. Okay? Always catch them doing something right because the following day they will be doing it. Okay? Next slide, please. When you stop learning, you stop growing. That's what Ken Blanco said too. I never stopped learning, but I stopped growing until 5 feet 11 centimeters. That's my height now. So I never stopped growing here and here. Guys, I mean, there are a lot of books in National Bookstore that you can invest in. If you can buy a phone worth 25,000 pesos, why not buy a book worth 800 pesos? Or you could buy the biography of, or the memoirs of John Ponce Enrile for 1.3, right? I won't invest 1.3 in that book. Right? If you stop learning, you start growing. When, you know Steve Jobs, right? When Steve Jobs died, he was still working prior to his death. 2 or 3 hours before he died, he was still working on a project. He was still giving his inputs, his insights in it. Can you believe that? The book by Mitch Albom, Tuesdays with Morrie. You read that? Tuesdays with Morrie. You have it? Okay. What did Mitch see beside in the bedside of his teacher? What did he see? He saw a book, right? So even in his deathbed, well, he's died, he's still learning. When you stop learning, you start growing. Give your leaders that kind of a mindset. Okay? They can learn 1 or 2 new things every day. It doesn't mean they graduated from college or they took up MBA, they're the best. No. Okay? And another quality, true leader that we could have is, next please. If you want to know why your people are not performing well, step up to the mirror and take a peek. Okay, this is what I was asking Rick earlier. Okay, when it comes to the leaders, okay, people leave their companies because of the leaders who handle them. Okay, people leave because of the people who manage them as well. Ang problema most of the companies here just manage people; they do not lead them. If something is going wrong with your company right now, look for your leaders, your team leader, your shift manager, your operation manager. Call them in, not your workforce, not the people who do frontline work, but their leaders. Why? Because all of the directives stem from you, and it goes through them, right? So if something's wrong with them as well. Okay, make sure that you look at them first before your frontline. Okay? The problem is these leaders, or even us, sometimes we're guilty of that. We keep on pointing fingers to those who work for us. Okay? We have to look at the mirror. What am I doing wrong? It has to stem from you as a leader of that company. Okay? And you have to make sure that you know what is going on. Okay? Especially if it's something wrong. So step up to the mirror. Right? Next, please. Leadership is not something that you do to people. It's something that you do with people. I underline to and to with. Okay? It's something that you do with people. Work with your people. I had in my former company as well in Pacific Hub. I had a boss there. I had a boss there, and she was really working with us, and she made sure that we listened to her because she was very tough on us. Liza, you remember Miss Annie, right? She was very tough on us. I mean, during ManComs, she would shout at me, "Where did you get that report, Mike? Where did you get those numbers? Are you just making this?" Because she knew me as a very talkative person, and it's been 30 minutes that I've been talking. And I said, no, ma'am, no. She always scolded me at all, and I felt bad about it. But she made sure that after the ManCom meeting, that she would work with me and say, you know what, anak, she called me anak afterwards, after scolding me in front of our CEO and the other directors, to say that this is what you should have done. Okay? Now, next meeting, I want you to present it this way. Right? She made sure that we were all developed well. Okay? And you know, she's the only boss that I can say, "I love you, ma'am." I have text to prove that. And yeah, she does say, "I love you too, anak." Right? That's the kind of leader that she is, and she's very well known in the contact center industry as well. Right? So all we need to do is to work with our people and have that lasting impact with them. I guess I'm lucky that most of my bosses, my former bosses even, I've had, or I still have a personal relationship with them, except for one. Right? But even my former boss in India, we Facebook each other. She asked me how I am, and I give her news about me as well. Right? So work with your teams. That's your business. Give them that mindset that this is also their business. They're all shareholders when it comes to this. Okay? Work with your people. Okay? Next, please. The only job security that you have today is your commitment to continuous personal improvement. I wish I could say this to all the politicians here in our country, but once they start winning, they're just concerned about getting all their money back. Right? Ako naman, I want to become a politician, and I know someday I will be. The only reason why I want to become a politician is to get back all the withholding taxes that I pay. Lugi ako eh. I pay a lot of withholding taxes just to go to the pockets of these politicians. Right? Continuous personal improvement. It doesn't mean that you're in that wisdom level. It doesn't mean that you're already good or there's still a lot of improvement for you. Even if you're 100 years old, or even if you're 5 years old. Continuous personal improvement. Okay, deep inside. Who among you here have relatives in the U.S.? Raise your hands. We all do, or almost all of us have. Or abroad, not just in the U.S. What happens when they come back here in our country? What's the first thing that they would say? You remember the commercial? I want to get to the States, the guy. Or heavy traffic, I want to get to the States, right? They keep on saying that. And what do you observe from them? What happens? Do they still litter? Not anymore, right? Do they still leave their food or their plates on the table when they eat? No, they just go out. Right? They're very disciplined. My question now is, in order for you to change your attitude, do you still have to leave our country? Of course not. It starts here. Yung ibang kababayan natin kasi doon na nagbabago pag napunta na sa Singapore, South America, Dubai, US, Japan. That's the only time they change. Wherein we can change here right now. And it's all up to you as leaders. Our companies may not be as big as Tech, Converges, Size, and all of these call centers. But we have that opportunity to develop people. Okay? So all you need to do is continuous personal improvement. Improve on yourself. Life gets better, believe me. And it's all about your attitude. I always sum up attitude into two things. And I've read this in a lot of books as well. Sum it up into two things. You can either choose to be happy or choose to be miserable. What is your choice? Are you all happy? You look miserable because I'm already taking too much time. Are you all happy in your lives right now? Yes, I'm happy. Are you all happy in your lives right now? Yes, very good. You have to. Okay, no matter what. Right? Is it that difficult to be happy? No. It's free, right? And it's your choice. I lost my dad last year. My brother's here too. We lost our dad last year, September 30, 2011. Just like that. I was talking to him Wednesday night, Friday night, he's dead. Pancreatic cancer, you know how it's a traitor, right? Dead. All of us die. Whether we like it or not. Except if your last name is Cullen. Twilight. You won't die if you're a couple, right? Look at Bella, diba? 5'2". Vampira na siya. You won't die if you're a vampire. Sila dito gusto maging tisoy. Total, mga Pilipino, mahilig na rin mag-whitening soap. Magpakagat kayo sa vampira kung puti kayo. Diba? But we all die. And that's the hardest crucible that we go through in life. People become miserable after a death of someone that they truly love. But what you don't know is, you can also be happy. It's difficult. You have to. I have a friend, her husband died while her husband was playing soccer in Ateneo football field. He just collapsed and died. He was playing soccer. This guy's healthy, never smoked, never drinks. He just died of a stroke. She was devastated for 2 years. I mean, she was devastated. But now, she's back on her feet. back up on her feet and said, life goes on. I have kids here. I have to be happy for my husband who passed away peacefully at least. And I have to be happy for myself because I'm still alive. Right? Life is very short. Personal improvement. Choose to be happy. Ang daming Pilipino napaka-miserable kasi. Some of them pretend to be happy. I see them every day at the Senate or Congress. Oh, I'm happy. I'm happy I have a moolah. I can buy all these expedition, all of these expensive cars, all these houses. I'm happy. Yeah, right. I have billions of pesos in my bank account, but I'm in a hospital right now trying to hide from the law. Can you enjoy your money? I earn much less than what you guys probably are earning, right? But I'm happy. I only live in a townhouse, but I'm happy, right? I'm happy because I have my family with me, and it's my choice, right? That's my personal improvement. But every day, I still have to make sure that I improve, right? So what I told myself earlier, I won't tell a lie. So what I'm telling you right now is the truth. So that's a personal improvement, diba? All right. Next, please. Wow. Servant leadership is more about character than style. Do you know who this guy is? Who doesn't know who the man on the slide is? You know? Okay. His name is Jesus Christ. Okay? This quote is from John Maxwell. He's a leadership guru as well. I got this from the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Servant leadership is more about character than style. Where did Jesus Christ show that he's a man of character than style? Did he walk around with his bodyguards? Did he walk around in a first-class horse? Did he walk around with nice clothes, maybe, or with jewelry? Of course not. You're not that kind of a leader. But he showed his character where? What part of the story of the Bible, if you're familiar with it, what part of the Bible did he show that he's a servant leader? Washing of the feet. Thank you very much. Washing of the feet. He washed the feet of his disciples prior to the Last Supper. Okay? Before this, they didn't have nice shoes like what we do right now, clothes. Puro sandals like. So it's always full of sand, okay, and mud. So when they walk, of course, before having dinner, you have to wash your hands and wash your feet. But for him to wash that feet, okay, he showed character there. He showed that he's a servant leader. I'm willing to serve you as your leader. Okay? Before I end, next please. I have I got this from a former co-trainer of mine as well. It's called And Then Some. I'll read it. These three little words are the secret to success. They are the difference between average people and the top people in most companies. The top people always do what is expected and then some. They are thoughtful of others, they are considerate and kind, and then some. They meet their obligations and responsibilities fairly and squarely, and then some. They are good friends and helpful neighbors. They can be counted on in an emergency. I am thankful for people like you, for you make the world more livable. Your spirit of service is summed up in these three little words, and then some. As leaders, go the extra mile for your people, please. It is our responsibility as their leaders to make sure that they get developed. Who will replace us in the end? Right? It's them. We have to develop leaders within our own company. We cannot just depend on search companies, executive search companies for leaders. We develop it within our own company. Okay? With that, next please. If you have any questions or concerns, this is my email address and my mobile. Please do not text me take care or good night, Mike, because my wife will kill me. Please put your name as well. You're going to text me, and I will be sure to call you back. Okay, I have unleave. But if you can't reach me, it's not my fault. It's the fault of my service provider, because you know what 0916 is, right? I'm waiting for a sponsor to give me a smart SIM. All right. So thank you very much for your time. I hope I enjoyed it. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Mike Blanco. Thank you very much for sharing about some. But first of all, before you present that, I'd like to clarify. People do not speak Tagalog, and you raise your hand, and I'm pointing at you. Nagtatagalog ka pala eh.
Yeah. But I'm a Phil di ba?
Feel that?
Right? I always make sure that if I'm in the company, I'm in English frame of mind. Diba? I guess I speak this way now because I was a call center agent for 2 years. And I was speaking to 300 people a day over the phone. So, I will develop your skills, right?
Italian.
Yeah, kita nyo naman. Alright?
Explanation accepted.
A warm applause, please.
May I thank my sponsors before I go?
What sponsor?
I'd like to thank the SM Department Store Teen section for my shirt and my pants.
Team
Team section. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mike. I should shop there as well. Same size tayo. Same size. Now, wow. Who's next?